evening, everyone. Good day, wherever you are from. Hope that today has been a great day for you. So, welcome to the Fearless Fempreneurs live show. And we are here today to welcome yet again another fearless fempreneur, an amazing, daring, and adventurous fearless fempreneur with us today. So, our guest today, without further ado, I am going to go ahead and introduce her. So Deasha, she is based in the UK. We're so blessed to have her here today. She is a social media strategist who has worked in international marketing for over 7 years in corporate and digital marketing agency before starting Social Treats, her business, in 2016. She is a Facebook lead trainer and an approved ManyChat agency partner. And in 2019, she was shortlisted for Freelance Social Media Manager of the Year. She has worked with businesses to scale and reach 6 and 7 figures using organic and paid social media strategies that they can use over and over again. I think that's what we are also excited about today, right? So Deasha loves to travel and works remotely from any location in the world. Well, at least pre-COVID. I think now everybody works from home. She believes that everyone should have the same freedom and flexibility to spend their time as they want, and she helps clients stop wasting time on social media and be more strategic. She is also the host of the free Facebook group Get Visible, Organic Marketing Strategies that attracts clients consistently. Today, Deasha will talk about how to plan a $180,000 year in business, growing organically through social media. So without further ado, let me welcome Deasha. Hold on, let me remove the pin. Hi! Super excited. We're super excited to have you here. So how have you been?
Good. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And I always get flustered when I hear my bio read out. I'm like, what? I sound so good.
Well, you are indeed great. So that's like one of the best things that we have seen in our growth as well. Because for those of you who are tuning in, do you know that we actually interviewed Deasha back in 2017? She was one of the first few people that we interviewed when we first began Fempreneur Secrets podcast. So this is so nice to have sort of like a roundup and see what Deasha is now all about. So Deasha, share with us what's happening right now in your business.
Well, it's been crazy since I last spoke to you. So now I am coaching entrepreneurs to get more sales through organic social media. I am a massive fan of not paying for anything. I think we all are if we can help it, right? Don't want to pay for things we don't have to.
Yeah.
So I now help people do that. I was working when I originally spoke to you. I think I was working as a social media manager, and that was fantastic. I grew my business to an agency status. I had 5 contractors working with me, and we were scaling social media for 6 and 7 figure business owners. And I hit a point, and I think as an entrepreneur, we always go through these motions of, am I doing what I really want to do, or that I'm called to do? And should I shift? And I decided that I needed to shift. And I decided I wanted to help entrepreneurs that are just coming up. So I have just started a new business, want to grow to the next level, want to help them get more sales and get started. And the strategies that I was using for these big businesses that had whole teams of people were completely different to the strategies I was using as a solopreneur to find clients and get clients on board. So I decided I needed to help more people create profitable businesses and make sales easily without paying for anything.
I think the without paying part is something that a lot of solopreneurs or people starting out in business are, like they're just jumping for joy listening to that. So let's get started with the topic. And the heart of the topic itself is how to make $180,000 a year organically with social media. Maybe we want to talk first about the concept of organic. What is your understanding about this term organic?
So it's not paying for ads, it's being visible online. And the way the world is at the moment, especially online, the online space, we have to do things a little bit differently if we don't want to pay. So it's about looking at things in a slightly different way so that we are better placed to find those clients without paying and connecting with them. So we're not having those huge outlays. Like none of my clients you don't need to have a website when you're just starting out. You don't need to have all of this big technical stuff. You don't need to have an ad budget. You just need to find clients. And I think too often what entrepreneurs are doing is getting distracted by all the fluffy stuff. And they're like, I have to be on all of the things and I have to be doing all of the stuff. I'm like, okay, stop. Just focus on one thing and get you clients first, and then build up to the other things as you grow and as you can bring on people and resources to help you do that.
I love that so much because I remember when we had our interview years ago, you mentioned that if you were just starting out in business and if there was one big tip that you can give away, it was that you should just be comfortable starting with one social media platform. Work your way up, get yourself more comfortable, and then once you really build that organic traction, you move your way up. Do you still believe that this tip is still true till today?
Absolutely, absolutely. Don't spread yourself too thin. I think people get distracted being on all the things and creating all the content, and they forget they have to actually do the sales stuff to get clients.
Oh,
They're just
absolutely.
putting out content and they forget they have to actually talk to people to make those sales.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure, okay, this whole concept that you have talked about, organic reach as well as trying to reach out on social media, does it actually applies to all different types of social media or only specific types of social media?
It can apply to all types of social media. So it depends where your ideal clients are and knowing that, and also what platforms you love to use. Because it's completely different being on multiple platforms and being on different platforms if you don't love to use them. Like, I love scrolling through TikTok, but I am not going to be on there dancing my way. I'm a terrible dancer. So I'm like, that is just going to be my fun platform where I can sit and mindlessly scroll through all of the beautiful men on the platform. And I'm not going to use that for work, but I can go on Facebook and Instagram and use those for work and network on those because I love those platforms and I know that my ideal clients are hanging out on there. So knowing where your ideal clients are and also loving using the platform yourself as well.
Love this. I love this so much because I also love to watch TikTok videos. They're so entertaining. It's super entertaining. Yeah. And I did make an attempt to create a TikTok account and give some business tips and things like that. But then I felt that it was not where my clients was hanging out. It felt a little bit out of place. So what you've mentioned, really, really on point. So with that, like, it sort of like links back to the question on how then are you able to share and what is the story behind this $180,000 that we are talking about today?
Yeah, so my thing for planning, right? You want to make sure that you've planned your year and your launches and everything that is happening in advance. The reason being is you can nurture your audience in between these stages and you can be educating them on different things. So if you know what's coming up, then you can be saying, oh, you can join my wait list for that if you like, or you can be nurturing them on the language that you're going to use when you launch. So having a plan in place of everything that you're going to do. Yes, it's not set in stone. You can totally move things around. Like I had a plan for having a mastermind in June, and this week I was like, I feel called to do it now. So I'm just going to shift a few things around and I'm going to do it now instead. So things like that, you can totally change. It's not your business. You're not set in stone. But having a plan, I think, as entrepreneurs, and especially at this time of year in January when people are doing all the vision boards and they're setting their goals and they go, oh, I'm going to have a 6-figure year and it's going to be amazing. And I go, okay, what are you earning now? What do you need to sell to get there? And what does that look like? And they go, oh, I don't know. I'm like, right, okay, so let's figure out how to make that happen practically, because there's no good saying I want a 6-figure year and then sitting on the sofa and drinking coffee and being like, okay, come at me then, sales. Like, I don't even know what I'm selling, but somebody come and drop some money off. We have to have a plan, right, to achieve that goal. So making sure that we are planning things in to achieve that, and also looking at the offers that we're offering, right? So if you're offering something for $5, you have to sell a lot of that to make 6 figures. So
Agreed.
looking at, and if that is reasonable for you, like if you haven't sold any of those, probably not going to sell 6 figures worth of that product in the next year. So look at something else that you could offer, that you could sell less of, that you could then scale, and all these different things that you can pack in so that you're making that money rather than just sitting on the sofa and hoping that it's going to drop into your lap.
Wow. So this is it's very insightful, and I would say there's so much growth in you, Deasha, since we last spoke in 2017. I can see so much changes, so much growth, and that's really very nice. I'm very happy to see where you are right now, and the amount of things that you have done, the changes and the impact that you have made with your own community. So really, really grateful that we are here having this conversation. All right, so I'm gonna open the floor for questions. So if any one of you watching in right now, you've got any questions that you want to direct directly to Deasha, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Or if you are here inside the Zoom room, you can drop them inside the chat as well. All right, so Deasha, I was thinking about the difference between a service-based business and a product-based business. Do you see any differences in terms of the strategies that you have just shared just now, which is like planning as well as the campaigns around that?
Yeah, so there's not too much difference in terms of planning. We still have to plan the campaigns and what we're offering and how we're going to offer that and the way that we're going to distribute that. So whether that's on different channels. So I've just launched a downloadable product on Etsy, which is my first ever product on Etsy. And I got so excited. And when I got my first sale, I almost weed myself a little bit. Yay! And it, having knowing where you can put things and experimenting on what works, like ads are really cheap on Etsy, for example, to get those first initial sales over the line. So you've got the reviews, and then it should, fingers crossed, snowball from there when you get some good reviews and you get those sorts of things. But planning as a service-based or a product-based business is still planning. We still need to have a goal of what we're going to do. And again, like I said, it's not set in stone, but planning means we can make arrangements for things that are going to happen. So for example, I like to plan because I can see in the future I'm going to need to get some help on at a certain point. So, I'm going to have a massive busy month this month because I'm launching something. So I'm going to bring in a VA to help me do stuff for this 1 month so that everything is still going along as it should. And I did that in December, brought on additional help because I was manic in December and I didn't want to work over Christmas. I don't want to work, so I'm even going to bring some help in.
Completely understand that. You know that there's one thing about entrepreneurs, whether you're women or you're men. I think both of us have this feeling that okay, we deserve breaks, and we want to set the breaks clearly. But for most of us, I would say that COVID is a huge break for some of us when it first hit all of us. So we were all trying to adapt and trying to see how we could do things and also improve and implement all the things that we planned out. I'm pretty sure you also managed to pivot some of your business ideas and some of the campaigns. So what was it like for you as you were trying to adapt with COVID, and what are you doing right now?
Yeah, so it was a strange time, right? The start of the year, as I was launching different things, and I was testing all sorts of things to see what would work and what wouldn't work in the environment. And I think that was a big thing. Like when all of this happened, a lot of people were thrown into unemployment. A lot of people were really worried about money. So creating smaller offers to help people make quick sales was one thing that I found really, really worked, to help people make those quick sales and get people over the line and making more money quickly and starting those businesses. So I did a lot around education, around starting a business and the things that you need in line to have a business. So contracts and payment processes and things like that, that you don't necessarily immediately think of the fun stuff when you start a business. But it's stuff that is necessary for you to continue to have a business. And I found that a lot of people weren't getting set up in that. They were just hoping that people were going to come and knock on the door and buy whatever they were selling.
Lovely. Okay, I also agree with the fact that you mentioned during this whole period, we realize how important it is that contracts are, or even finances. Like, how do you manage your own finances during such a difficult time? So, all of these things are good lessons for all of us. And I also believe that for those those how would I put this? Maybe mom and pop shops or even brick and mortar shops who were so afraid of going online, of trying to have some visibility on social media. They realize now that they had no choice but to find a way to become online and be more present on social media. Did you face some clients like that during this period?
Yeah, absolutely. And I ran training for shop owners in last year, in the middle of last year, around getting online and being active on social media. And some of it was interesting to see the difference because some of them were very resistant to it. And I'm like, but I just don't want to. And I was giving them all sorts of different options and ways they could do it that would align with them. And some people were just, I just don't want to go online.
I get it. I get it so much. Yeah.
I want to make money and I don't want to struggle right now, but I just don't want to go online at the moment. So it was trying to find a way to make these people feel at ease with what they were doing and how to get online in a way that aligned with them without having to show too much of themselves. Because I think that's a big fear that a lot of people have is showing too much of themselves online.
Mm-hmm.
And which as entrepreneurs, we just have to get over that. You need to get visible if you want to have a successful business. That is just the way it is. So yeah,
Yeah.
big hurdle for people.
Very big hurdle, and it's nice to hear that you managed to help this community of business owners who owns shops and trying to get out there. Of course, I also agree the resistance is there. This is something foreign to them. It's completely new to them, even though it has been around for quite some time. So, like right here in Singapore, one of the biggest hurdles during this period of time was digital payments, because a lot of our local vendors here are very comfortable with receiving payments with cash. So when this happened, they had to move their businesses to make it in such a way that they can accept cashless payment, so that we don't contract and spread the disease, or they have to offer deliveries and the payment is made online. So that was a whole new world for them. It's really nice to see that there's actually a blessing in disguise for this whole situation. Don't you think so?
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw some fantastic businesses really pivoting and making a success out of it. One of the businesses I follow on Instagram, for example, they have they've done so well out of COVID because they were a restaurant, but they had an amazing product that happened to photograph well, and they turned it into an Instagrammable product, and then they had their son at the first lockdown. When I first ordered it, it was this young lad who delivered, and he was terrible. He got so lost, and but they were so well, man. They were like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I really apologize." And I was like, "It's fine, don't worry." And they have slowly improved their systems. At the time, you literally had to bank transfer the money for the meal uh, before they would order it. Now they have an online system and everything all set up so that they can scale. And now they're delivering all over the area. So they have managed to turn COVID into a success for them.
That's great. Like, so that's exactly what we are talking about. When it comes to social media, there's a lot of room for you to grow your business, to even start your business. So it's really nice to see, a blend of all these things. So we've got a question right now for you. This is a technical question, so I'm just going to read it out to you to see whether you will be able to answer this. Our member Adeline asks, is concentrating on one platform a bit risky when something major happens, like the iOS 14.3 update that gives people the option to be more private? Wow.
Yeah, so the iOS 14 update actually only affects people who are running ads. So if you're doing things organically, it doesn't matter. It won't affect you at all. When you are focused on one platform, everything is owned by Facebook anyway. So if you're on Facebook and Instagram, for example, they're both owned by the same people. WhatsApp is also owned by Facebook. So these things are all owned by the same people. So if something happens and they all go down, then we're all all going down. I think it's just about evolving. So the iOS 14 update is going to make a huge difference to people who are running ads, and they're going to have to restructure things slightly and change the direction that they're going. But it's not going to be the be all and end all of anything. I think when we are on one platform, we're on that one platform to make sales and to connect with people. One of my clients had her account blocked from Facebook. Her personal account was blocked from Facebook, and she created a new one and reconnected with all of her clients all back again, and they were all so lovely. We missed you, can't wait to see you again, we're so glad you're back. And Facebook reinstated her previous one a couple of days after she created a new one, so she was able to switch back to that as well. These things happen, they're sent to try us. We just own it, go, okay, we're going to have to work on the mindset. And I said to her, it was over the Christmas period, and I was like, this is the universe telling you you need to chill.
Yes, indeed. Time for you to take a step back and enjoy the time with your family. So that was indeed a very, very good story that you have over there. So I've actually heard a lot of this type of horror stories happening very, very recently, I think because of the updates. And I also heard there are some changes in the European laws regarding advertisements and all of these things. It really does affect all of us, but I agree with you that if you do it organically and you have built that trust with your ideal customers, you should be fine, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there are always going to be new legislation and new laws coming out to testers and to triers. But at the end of the day, all of these people are trying to do it for the better of everybody else. Like the iOS 14 app has come out to protect our privacy. So it is good. It's a pain in the ass for us as marketeers, but it is a good thing that it's happening. We just have to work out how we can figure ourselves around it now with the new laws. And I think more and more, especially around privacy, we have the GDPR legislation in Europe. And I am always telling clients to make sure that they're across this, because even if they're not based in Europe, but they're dealing with clients in Europe, they can still be affected. So making sure that and it's super simple. You just need a privacy policy and make sure you're not selling any emails that you get. Not giving away all the data that you're receiving. It's not hard to comply with the policies. They just make them sound a lot more complicated than they actually are.
I agree. I think they are all these legal jargons that they have to put in place to cover everybody's bottoms. But at the end of the day, it is something positive for the users and the consumers. So as marketers, we just need to work our way around it, just like you have mentioned. Like if you were to think back when pop-up blockers actually started to be implemented in the world of websites and all of that, it also took the marketers by storm. They were also trying to adapt and figure things out, and today we are still facing pop-ups every now and then and here and there. So there is an adaptation period that needs to be expected and anticipated by marketers at large. So in that aspect, do you have any foresight of what's going to happen in the next few months down the road, within this year or maybe even next year? What are your thoughts on that?
Facebook are changing business pages massively over the next few weeks and months, whenever that will be rolled out. They announced it last week that they're changing things. So likes are disappearing completely from Facebook business pages, and we're focusing on follows. So we've had follows for a long time anyway. So most people won't see a massive difference. It just means you won't be able to see that likes thing. I think they're moving your business page to look a lot more like your personal page, which will be interesting to see how that plays out, because you'll also be able to follow people and other businesses from your business page. So it'll be interesting to see if that increases the reach. As you probably know, that the business page reach is shocking organically, which is why I focus on my personal profile and connecting with people on my personal profile on Facebook, because the business page reach is just shocking. So with the new layouts and the new changes they've made, it'll be interesting to see if that is going to shift, and it's going to bring back up posts more organically from Facebook pages, which means I'll have to shift my bum and do some stuff on my business page. I haven't done anything with it for a while.
Yeah.
Because it gets such bad reach. So I'm just like, okay, we'll just move that over there. So that was interesting happening when that all comes out. I think the other thing that was going to happen in 2021 is a unified inbox. So I think Facebook will merge Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp into one sort of messenger box so that you can respond to all of your messages from whichever app in the same place. They've started to make some of this happen within the business suite, and I think they're going to roll that out more widely over the next few months. So that should be interesting to see as well, because it will be so much easier. We don't have to check everywhere.
I agree. I completely agree with that. I think now we already have a sort of unified inbox with Facebook and Instagram connected to one. It will be lovely to have WhatsApp connected as well. Then we would have a one suite for everything, all the communications in one location, and you wouldn't get confused anymore about, oh, who's this person who I'm supposed to respond to? Yeah.
I think it's so hard to manage your inbox sometimes. And I use software to help me manage my inbox to see who I'm responding to and when, because there's so many messages, especially when you start a big organic campaign. I have so many messages in my inbox. So it's organizing those and structuring that so it's not a massive mess.
Lovely. So we've actually got one more question coming in from the crowd. So this question is interesting, I would say. The question that is about LinkedIn, as you know, like as a myth. People say that LinkedIn is a platform that is known only for people who are, you know, B2B businesses or even B2C businesses. But there are like another camp of people who are saying that LinkedIn is a good platform for you to be on right now if you want to target clients to do service-based business. Like, what are your thoughts on some of the myths that may be surrounding social media?
Yeah, so LinkedIn is a great platform if your clients are corporate based or slightly different. A lot of corporates are on LinkedIn, and if you can create content that stands out and is a little bit different, then that's going to go down well on LinkedIn as well. Because it's so corporate and it's almost very stiff upper neck, like corporate style, if your content is a little bit different, it tends to get a lot more engagement, and it's very easy to get organic engagement on LinkedIn with the right content, and very easy to get clients from LinkedIn if that's the ideal clients that you're looking for. It is a very corporate structure, so you have to think about the ideal clients that you're looking for and whether they are actively on LinkedIn or whether they are somewhere else. But it is a great platform to be on.
Lovely. So this is a very good tip. So for those of you who are trying or exploring out to go onto LinkedIn to search for corporate clients, and I think this will be a good platform for you. Of course, different platforms have different groups of people. So at the end of the day, you should always go back to who your ideal clients are and where are they, hanging out. That's what Deasha has mentioned in the beginning of today's episode. All right. So Deasha, let's wrap up with how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you can check out my Facebook group. It's bit.ly/organic and visible, or you can just search Get Visible on Facebook and you'll find us there. Or you can check me out on Instagram at Social Treats.
So that is one of the ways that you can reach out to Deasha. And if you want to hear how much growth she has, you can tune into one of our earlier episodes where Deasha was interviewed on Fempreneur Secrets podcast. I will leave the links in the show notes and also on the replay version of this live. So thank you so much, Deasha, for making your time and taking your lunch break with me. So I really appreciate your time, and I'm pretty sure all of our audience, our listeners, are also very grateful for all the insights that you have shared with us.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. So for all the ladies still listening in, remember to keep learning and keep believing in yourself, because the world needs an inspiration just like you. And I'll see you in the next episode of Fearless Fempreneurs.